Welcome back to We Need to Talk, guys. This is, of course, the show that looks at football on the internet over the past 7 days. The 7 days that seen Frank Lampard not happy with the Premier League's rule change.
I think the ball was firmly dropped when clubs turned away, or the Premier League turned away from having 5 subs. We're clearly in the most unprecedented times in terms of the situation in football, which is carrying on. It's not going anywhere in the short term. Players, the demands on players are huge, every club. And I thought that was the thing that I completely agree with Pep. I'm not just talking about my squad, I'm talking about every football player that's been asked to play day after day and put themselves at injury risk, and it's changed the landscape.
Sean Dyche, Sir Sean, finally getting the funding he needs. Love it, Big Sean.
And it concerns Burnley, who are on the verge of being taken over in a deal that is worth around £200 million. Now, it's understood that Sean Dyche will be given major funds then to improve his squad.
And the PSG team nicking Marco Verratti's phone. Anyway, today we need to talk about Barcelona. It's been a tumultuous week for the Catalan football club. In fact, it's probably been one of the most turbulent weeks I can remember in their club's modern history, really, because we finally saw, it's been so long in the making, we finally saw the board resign from their positions. The most important of which was, of course, Josep Bartomeu. He's finally gone, lads. Barcelona fans, hit that like button right now. I know you're excited, you're buzzing, and we need the clicks. Yes, of course, he was the club president, and he had been at war with the fans for years, frankly, following some disgraceful on and off the pitch failings, including probably the biggest shambles of the lot, Barçagate. I'll let Gary Cottrell explain that one.
Barçagate is allegations, many of them proven, that this much disliked President Bartomeu hired a social media company to check all the social media references for Barcelona and then create false accounts to criticise people he saw as his enemies, including the likes of Xavi, Puyol, Messi, and even Pep Guardiola.
More recently, you've got Mexit, where of course Messi tried to force his way out of the club, but was then forced to stay by Bartomeu, who refused to let him go from his contract. Messi was not happy about it. There's a brilliant quote. He says, "The truth is there's no project at this club. They just plug holes as and when things happen. I would never go for a war against the club of my life. That is why I'm staying." So pretty much universally hated by everyone involved with Barcelona, Bartomeu was due to step down in March, having served the maximum 2 terms you're allowed to serve as Barcelona club president. He was appointed back in 2014. But no, it wasn't to be. Given a vote of no confidence by 20,000 club members who signed that motion and had him removed, marched out the door immediately. Now, obviously, he didn't want to be the first Barcelona president in club history to be kicked out by a vote of no confidence, so he selflessly opted to resign because, you know, campaigners had it at about 80% of a vote against him. They only needed 66% to get it done. He was in big trouble anyway, stepping on his own sword to save his own skin. Stepping on your sword? Do you fall on your sword? You fall on your sword. Stepping would just cause a cut in your foot. Anyway, he's out. Now, before I get into who is going to take over, I want to hear from you guys at home. I'm going to be replying to the comments, and I'm going to post my favourite 3 on my Instagram story. I want to know what 3 policies you would implement if you were Barcelona president and wanted to make changes at the club. What would those 3 be? The funniest, the most unusual, or just the best, I'll post on my story. So yeah, what's going to happen next? Well, Barcelona, as we all know, is a club that's owned by the fans. Therefore, they'll be able to vote for their next president on March the 20th. That's been brought forward from sort of mid-June 2021. The likes of former President Joan Laporta, Jordi Ferrer, Toni Flexea, and Luis Fernandez. Did you see me try and get the pronunciation right there? Probably wrong, wasn't it? Well, they've all stepped forward as potential presidential election candidates at this early hour, but the outstanding name making all of the headlines, the front runner, the bookies' favourite, is none other than Victor Font. Now, Victor Font originally had a stab at getting involved in the Barcelona presidential election back in 2015, but opted not to run. because he wasn't ready, he felt he didn't have the backing, so he waited 6 years of planning, 6 years in the making, and he's finally putting his name forward. His idea, his big picture vision is nicknamed "Si al futur." Si al futur. Si al futur. I think basically it means yes to the future, and it's based around building a sustainable team, and he's been discussing it in an exclusive interview with Sky Sports News this week. At the heart, the very soul of this pitch to become Barcelona president is the master plan to get Messi to stay at the club, and that involves bringing back former Barcelona stars and managers to work with the club.
Pep Guardiola, like Xavi Hernandez, Andres Iniesta, Carles Puyol, all these people do not work for Barca today. It doesn't make any sense. We need to bring them back. We need to give them, obviously, the right responsibilities, because not everyone is able to play any role outside of the pitch. So you need to really, make sure that they take the right responsibilities. But by doing that, we are sure that we will be able to have a very competitive project, which is the only thing that Messi needs.
Now, you will have noticed in that clip there that Victor Font hinted he wanted Pep Guardiola to come back to the club. Of course, he left in 2012, won I think 179 of his 247 games in charge, something like a 70% win rate, 14 major trophies, I think 3 La Ligas, 2 Champions Leagues, both of them coming against Man United. Interestingly enough, Pep's contract at Manchester City is actually up this coming summer, 2021, the same year as the Barcelona presidential election, and his future remains in doubt, despite him being asked to clarify it this week.
I'm incredibly happy here. Delighted to be in Manchester, and hopefully I can do a good job this season to stay longer.
Just for what it's worth, my personal opinion, I cannot see him going back. I think it would be a regression for him to leave Manchester City and step backwards, and I see him as the most progressive manager in world football. I see no way that he returns to Catalonia, somewhere that he's already conquered. He's won leagues, he's won Champions Leagues, he's won domestic cups, he knows the team, he knows the people there. I don't think he needs to go back. He's done that. That part of his life is over. I think the next chapter for him might well be international management, particularly with Brazil, as he talked about in his book. And let's face it, in the past, I think Pep has categorically ruled this out too.
No, never I come back to Barcelona to be coach there. Never. My period there is gone.
So not only will Font have a massive uphill battle to convince Pep to return, but he'll also face massive financial difficulties and the prospect of the European Super League, which is kind of looming over the whole of Europe like some horrible witch, isn't it, at the moment? And to be honest with you, when Bartomeu left, he dropped a pretty monster bombshell.
Dels requeriments per a participar a una futura Superliga Europea de Clubs de Futbol. Un projecte impulsat pels grans clubs de futbol.
Now, the reason Bartomeu says he signed them up for the European Super League is it is one of the only ways they can stave off this financial peril that they're currently in. Huge debts, huge problems behind the scenes at Barcelona. But, we're still a million miles away from the European Premier League being agreed. After all, Barcelona season ticket holders would have to agree for that to happen, which to me, I can't see happening. And in his interview yesterday, Victor Font was very much keen to forget about the European Premier League and concentrate on improving the Champions League.
I was very surprised, to be honest, with that statement, because I know that that project is not a reality at this point in time. So joining a competition that does not exist is kind of weird, to say the least. So obviously, if we have the honor to take the reins of FC Barcelona, we will obviously be very much interested in understanding what type of alternatives there are, what type of interesting projects in the world of football Barca could participate in. We've not been part of any of these processes and discussions. Making the Champions League better is something we should aspire to do.
So overall, we've got Bartomeu out. Get in, Barcelona fans. We've got Victor Font potentially coming in with the plan to bring back Pep Guardiola, bring back Xavi Hernandez. In what role? Doesn't he want to be a manager? Bring back Carles Puyol and keep Lionel Messi. Is it all going to happen? Probably not. But it's a big old flip from 3 months ago, isn't it? When Messi was potentially joining Pep at City, we could now have Pep joining Messi at Barcelona. It's a tongue twister. It's a bit of a mind. to be honest with you. I'm getting quite confused. But nevertheless, I do want to hear from all of the Barcelona fans and everybody else on their 3 policies they would implement if they were Victor Font taking over at Barcelona. Put them in the comments. I'll repost them on my Instagram. So there we have it. That was today's episode of We Need to Talk. If you want more serious footballing debate, head over to Eurofootball Daily and check out Continental Club, where Doogie Coronavirus Critchley is currently feeling ill but still battling on. Make sure you watch that. Send him some love. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you later.